Chapter 3. The first attempt at the concepts of unitary world ground. Among the early Indians, as among the early Greeks, on explanation beginning in the world, its ordinarily and substance and its construction formed and the first and most interested subject of philosophical speculation. In the Veda, such as the speculation has gone in on to some extent has been had produced the famous creation hymns, as well as others in the origin of the world as conjured under architectural, generative, and sacrificial analogies. The Brahmana speculation continued further along the same line. When the period of the Upanyas arrived, the same theme had not grown old. And when will it? The quotation for bit it already cited show how the theme was still discussed and indicates alternative that was offered late in the period. But among the early Upanyas, the first crude cosmogenetic theories had not yet been displaced. Prominent among those in one which is advanced among the early Greeks of tales and which is also a widely prevailing semantic idea named the original stuff of the world was water. That's the Brithik. Brithik. And we find state in the beginning of the world where just water is just the water solidified in the earth. It is the atmosphere that sky and the gods and men and animals and birds, grass, trees, bees together like worms, flies, and all were just water solidified. Gargi in Brithik opened a discussion with the philosopher Yajnavalkya by asking for an explanation for a popular theory that all the world is oven, warp, and whoop and water. In the later Kanta, in most philosophical theory of the world, ground was added on the older theory of water was the primal entity. Atman was born and old from the water. Somewhat similar combination of earlier and later theories are made in Atman were created in the waters. From the waters drew and forth and shaped a person. From those members of different part of the world and man emanated. And Kaush. The Brahmana declares the waters verily indeed in my world. It's like more philosophical fashion. The space also hoisted and ultimately ground the world. At Chand, three men represent as having discussion over the origin of a Simon chant of the sacrificial ritual. One of the group cracked it back to the sound to breathe the food, water, yonder world. When pressed as to what wonder the world goes back, he replied, one should not lead beyond the heavenly world. He established the salmon upon the heavenly world from Saman he prizes heaven. The second number of the group taunted the first that Salmon has no foundation. When challenged himself to declare the origin of the world, replied this world. But he was immediately brought to the limit of his knowledge and regards the origin of the world. One should not lead beyond the world's support. He established Salmon upon the world as support, for the Salmon is and prized as support. Thus the three men put in this taunt, your salmon comes to yen, said he. It was noticed that he who was only one of the three, not a Brahmin, professional philosopher is able to explain. Verily, all things being arrives out of the space, they disappear back into the space, for space alone is greater than those, and space is a final good. With still greater abstraction, origin of the world is traced back its early Greek speculation and to not being. In the beginning, verily this world is non-existent, thereafrom verily beings are produced. The chant 319, some theory is combined with another theory which is found among the Greeks, which were popular among Indian, continuing even after the time of Manu, merely their cosmic age. It is beginning of the world is merely a non-being, a sad. Its existence is developed. A turned into an egg. It's laid in the period of a year. It split under. One of the two eggshell part became silver. One is gold. That which was a silver is earth, and the which was gold is the sky. It was the outer membrane of the mountains, which was the inner membrane is cloud and mist. That was the veins or the rivers that was fluid with the ocean. The theory of the Rig Veda, Atharva Veda, of then Taittiriya, one of the earlier part of Chanta Yoga, is expressed, referred, and combined to Chant. In the beginning, my dear, the world was just a being, only one, without a second. And to be sure, some people say in the beginning the world was just non-being, one only, without the second. From the non-being, beings are produced, but very my dear, when since could be they? How from not being could beings are produced? One of the contrary, my dear, the beginning the world was a being, only one, without a second. In be through itself, would that it was many. Let me procreate myself. It emitted heat. Similar, the heat procreated water, and the water food. Out of the three elements, after they had infused by the original existence with a name and form, a discipline of individuation, all physical objects, also the organic and physical nature, man was were composed. Still more abstract than the space theory, but connected with it, the cosmology speculation offered by Vichnya Valkya to Gargi, who confined him with two supporting unanswerable questions: that which is above the sky, what is which beneath the earth, and what is between the two sky and the earth, what which people call the past and the present and the future. Across what is the woven wrap or and wool? Across space, the Yakshana Valkya reply. Across the what they pray is space woven. That O Kargi Brahmanas call the imperishable answer Yajna Valkya, but he does not attempt to describe it, since it's beyond all earthly distinction. However, with the directness and the grand simplicity that calls to mind, and the Hebrew account of creation is mandatorily a word of divine being, is follow an account of governance and the world by the world ground. Very O Gargi, at the command of the imperishable sun and moon stand apart. Verily, O Gargi, at the command of this imperishable earth and sky stands apart. Verily, O Gargi, in the command of the imperishable moment, the hours, the days, the nights, the fortnights, the months, the season, the years stand apart. Verily, O Gargi, and the command of the imperishable, some rivers flow from the snowy mountain to east and others to west, and whatever direction each flow. The searching of this origins explanation of the world's phenomena. First, the phenomenal entity like water and space, and then the super phenomenal entity like a non-being, being imperishable, had even the Rig and Atharva with a preach a concept of necessarily a clearly basis of the world, even the beginning of monism. Thus, Brahmana speak like Smith and before together all things here. Vishwakarma, literally the all maker, the one God, establish all things for sacrificial dismemberment of Purusha, the world or wrong person, all things are formed. In the beginning arose Hiranyagarbha, the earth begetter, who created heaven. And the creation time there was neither being nor being nor non-being, without breathen by your own power that one. I unknowingly ignorant here asked the wise sages of the sake of knowledge what was that one in the form of unborn and who established the six worlds. The glimpse into the Moinism and RB. Him who is once existent sage name variously. Various indeed were the conjectures regarding the world's ground. For Brahmanaspati Vishwakarma, Puruksha, Hiranyagarbha. Besides the indefinite that one, having just been created from the Rig Veda, another, Prajapati, literally a lot of creatures, began to arise towards the end of Vedic period, increased the prominence through the Brahmanic, and continued on into the Upanishadic. But the concept which is the groundwork of Vedanta, which overthrew or absorbed into itself all the conception of the world's ground, and and was there the Brahma emerging in the Brahmanas. It obtained in the Upanyas a fundamental position which never lost. Indeed, the philosophy of the Upanyas is something called Brahmanism from the concept or central concept.